know, you missed me. I missed me too. Good evening, everyone. So CNN's Brian Stelter says his friends in LA told him that 99.9% of the city is just fine. Coincidentally, 99.9% is also his body fat. In LA, rioters held up Mexican flags to protest people being deported to Mexico. That's like holding up a pride flag to protest being deported to John Travolta's ass. Makes no sense. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass denounced the federal immigration raids. So now they don't want California to have ice or water.
Hold your applause.
According to ICE, the migrants arrested in LA included convicted sex offenders and drug dealers. Wow, no wonder so many people called in sick at Nickelodeon.
Ooh, well done.
Thank you. Thank you. When Maxine Waters tried to enter an ICE detention center, she had the door slammed in her face. The same thing happened when she tried to enter Supercuts. Just mail your hair in, lady. Kamala Harris said the Los Angeles protests were overwhelmingly peaceful, just like her water is overwhelmingly vodka. So Los Angeles is on fire again. It's like déjà vu, the French words for Newsom sucks. So while ICE was out investigating a criminal conspiracy, rioters assumed it was an immigration raid and swarmed and assaulted the feds. And no surprise, the state's leadership spent 2 days giving the rioters more support than Pelosi's underwire. Yeah. Now, as usual with the leftist brats, the right had to ride to the rescue of law-abiding citizens who had the audacity to not want their homes and businesses burned to the ground. So Trump sent in the National Guard, upsetting Karen Bass, who was busy searching Expedia for cheap flights to Ghana. Hell, she already helped the cause and caused plenty of violence and destruction herself by holding back the LAPD. Like the LA fires, she just let it spread. And so federal law enforcement got less protection than your average human trafficker. Maybe if ICE identified as Maryland dads, Democrats would form a human shield around him. Now, this being LA, where bad leadership is as common as butt implants, everyone had a role to play in this show. Newsom showed his statesmanship by tweeting frantically about Trump. For Newsom, this wasn't violent chaos. It was a campaign ad. I'm Gavin Newsom, and I approve this riot.
Hey, I'm Governor Gavin Newsom. I want to encourage you to visit beautiful California. Whether it's our bustling cities, great outdoors, or famously toasty climate. We got something for everyone. I'll see you soon. And don't forget, bring your sunglasses. It's hot out there.
That's clear. These riots are more orchestrated than the Boston Pops. For some reason, there's always activist organizers and foot soldiers ready to riot. Their signs and banners are so quickly produced. Gaza, BLM, Tesla, ICE, it's what leftist NGOs are happy to fund. The goal, to recalibrate risk. Obviously, getting thousands of violent offenders out of the country reduces your risk from crime, unless that process creates a counteroffensive that puts you at greater risk. It's extortion. You see the mob that might come for you and decide instead that law and order isn't worth the trouble. Remember the 2020 Summer of Love? Those BLM riots caused dozens in deaths and billions in damage. So calling that love is like saying Sean Diddy Combs likes to moisturize. And this hilarious video could be the dumbest moment in media history.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly, but fires have been started.
I said that was the dumbest, but now we have contenders. I wonder, Spartacus, do we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles?
We see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. These peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion.
We are having an administration that's targeting peaceful protests.
There have been no violence where anybody that was protesting hit anybody, shot anybody, threatened anybody. Nothing has happened.
What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
So this isn't a real riot. I mean, you got some looting, law enforcement being attacked, mass chaos by unruly mobs. This is more of a riot than when I did that book signing in a tank top. They called trespassing the Capitol an insurrection, but when liberals set a city on fire, suddenly they become Stevie Wonder. And I don't mean talented. So why do Californians put up with this? It's the beachfront restaurant theory, which is if you want to find the worst food in town, go to the beachfront. Because you go for the view and not the food, so who needs a decent chef? That's California. People come for the view, and the inept leaders do whatever the they want. Hell, now they're releasing lifers from prison. Under a new proposal, even inmates sentenced to life without parole, the worst of the worst, could now be freed if they did the crime before age 26. Because nothing says justice like telling a victim's family, hey, remember that guy who murdered your mom? We're giving him back because he was just 25 and only needed a hug. Remember, California won't use the death penalty, so these creeps are truly the baddest of the bad. This is the state that let Charles Manson run out the clock for 50 years, and he still never replied to Taylor Lorenz's postcards. You don't know her. So this is California in 2025. It's no longer a debate between right and left. It's a war between common sense and insanity. It's turned the California dream into a nightmare, one they can't wait to share with the rest of America. But thank God it's mostly peaceful. Can you imagine if it wasn't? Andrew, obviously you live in Southern California, perhaps Orange County, if you may. Are you surprised by this strange kind of blaming cycle that's going on?
No, it's just getting old. It's the same thing over and over again. But look, let me explain something, though, instead of just repeating what everybody else says, that this is just so chaotic, which it is. The reason this is being ratcheted up is because Los Angeles and subsequently California is on the edge of bankruptcy. There's a sense of urgency here because they need to figure out ways to get money in. So they're going to ratchet this up. They're going to increase the conversation about how Trump did this. They're going to have chaos. They're going to have more destruction that's caused by, of course, Trump, even though it's their own soldiers. It's Marxism and it's in a little pill. And the idea is to get money from either the federal government, which they know that they won't get, or all of their donors or other countries, and to really inflame this chaos. So this is a riot, okay? It started on Friday afternoon, not Saturday. Businesses were broken into, cars were exploding. And most importantly, I mean, what this did to the environment is horrible.
Oh, I know, that is horrible. So true. That is so true. I hope Greta Thunberg comes soon and fights in defense of the, I don't know, the jackrabbits.
California is always the hold my beer state. Like, no matter what, they just make it worse and worse and worse. And I'm excited to see what letting a bunch of criminals out of jail will do.
Yes.
Because so far, there's none there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know what? I think they looked at today's rioters and they said they really need to up their game. Let's bring in the real pros.
Yeah, bring them in.
Yes.
And then, yeah, that's when you're going to really see how everything gets down. Yeah. I like that they're lighting cars on fire that record everything.
Yes.
That's a special kind of stupid.
Yeah. I think they called the cars in, right? Because they were driverless cars or Waymo cars. So they actually called them to set them on fire. You know, so it leads me to this question, Tyrus. Are they baiting Trump? Was this a way to get him to do something? Because they want to prove that he's a fascist, so that's why the LAPD, they're not doing anything?
It's a weird, I like to fish, right? And this is the equivalent of, instead of putting a worm on the hook, putting a sign on the hook, if you bite this hook, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And it's stupid. There's no such thing as mostly peaceful protest. That's like someone telling you they're mostly pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, and what bothers me is that Trump is doing what any president should have done. He's not concerned with the morons in the street who don't even know what they're protesting. They're just, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what's Black Lives Matters, whatever. It seems to be there's a distinct part of our population that just loves anarchy, loves free, loves to steal and destroy because they can't get their together. So it's easy to fall in line and jump on. It doesn't matter. If you corner them and say, what are you here for? What are you fighting for? Every answer will be the same, or they'll have to look at whatever the slogan. That's why all the signs are the same. All the stuff is the same. There's pallets of bricks everywhere. Like they have the Democratic Party, the extreme left, have this population of just lost individuals that just do their bidding. And them I get, but it's the politicians who sit there like Newsom and stuff talking that from safely away indoors in a nice place. Well, if he wants to come arrest me, arrest me. Hey, Gavin, if the president gets you, if you get arrested, those little hand signals you have, you're going to want to change them real quick. Because this isn't going to mean what you think it means. You better learn how to say time out and hold on. But all those so-called politicians and leaders, I have a suggestion. Kamala, Gavin, why don't you invite these protesters to your neighborhoods and have a town hall? Bring them to your place. You know what? It's outdoors. It's beautiful, sunny California. You can have an outdoor. Hell, you can make it a cookout. And don't worry, they'll bring the fire.
Yes. Up next, an unbiased reporter's true colors.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.